Hello everybody, my name is Aiden and welcome to my review of Iron Lung. Iron Lung is the newest movie made by a YouTuber and the second one that we have gotten in the last 6 or 7 months, with the last movie created by a YouTuber being Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks, which released back in August. And now we get Iron Lung, the faithful video game adaptation created by Markiplier or Mark Fishback. This is a pure passion project from YouTuber Markiplier. He directed it, he wrote it, he financed it, he produced it, he starred in it. He did absolutely everything with this movie. And what this movie is it is based off this indie game that he played a couple years ago called Iron Lung. It is where this convict named Simon is put on this submarine, this makeshift submarine called the Iron Lung, and it's like post-apocalypse. An event happened called the Quiet Rapture, which basically destroyed all the stars and planets in the galaxy and wiped out most of humanity. So they send Simon into this makeshift submarine into this star. I believe it's a star that is filled of just an ocean of blood, and he has to go down deep into it, take pictures, get samples, and do all this stuff. And if he does it properly, this faction, I don't even know their name, but they release him. They will grant him his release. Now, this is also the second video game adaptation that we have gotten in the last week, with the Return to Silent Hill just dropping. And that movie was based off Silent Hill 2, which is this huge, financially successful video game. But this video game adaptation, on the other hand, is from this indie game Iron Lung, which is not well known. Not a lot of people have ever played it. It was like a 45-minute game that was free on PC, and he decided to adapt it into this feature-length film. Now, I'm just going to say I have never played Iron Lung. I have never watched anybody play Iron Lung. I never saw Markiplier's video on it. I knew nothing about this game prior to this film. I was just a big Markiplier fan. I've been watching him since he had 10,000 subscribers in 2013. So seeing him make a full-fledged movie in 2026 at my local theater was really cool to see. So I'm a little bit biased when it comes towards this film because I'm just such a big Markiplier fan. But he poured everything he had into this. He made his own studio. It's called Markiplier Studios. He had a $3 million budget, which was all self-funded by him. And it's just a pure passion project for Markiplier. He obviously really loved this game, and he did what most of us wish we could do and took one of his favorite games and made it into a full-fledged movie. It's about 2 hours long. The one downfall I will say about this film is he tried to turn a 45-minute game into a 2-hour long movie. It probably would have been better off like an hour 20 or an hour and a half film. It kind of drags on its runtime, and especially since 98% of the movie is all in the same setting, all within the submarine. However, the set design in this movie is really cool. The inside of the submarine is very detailed. You got this little compass that shows Markiplier's character where he's going. You got the throttles. You got his oxygen meters. You have all these pipes around. It looks like a not so sturdy makeshift type of submarine, which it's supposed to be. There's this camera that takes exterior pictures. Some of the camera shots that we get from that X-ray camera are very creepy. Most of the movie, the horror elements are you have to use basically your imagination to imagine what is going on outside the submarine, because for most of the movie we don't know what the fuck is going on outside of it. There's some really good camera shots in this as well. The opening sequence especially, there's like a pool of blood and then the camera moves down and then brings you into the submarine. There's a lot of really good shots inside the submarine with Markiplier while he's doing different things. The one thing that I will say about that though, it's a 2-hour movie all within the same space. There's a lot of repeated shots to kind of drag along the runtime, which, I mean, again, the movie didn't need those, but they're in there. Markiplier himself, I believe this is his first major role. I think he's done little acting roles here and there for like independent type of stuff, and he's on camera all the time for YouTube. But his acting was pretty solid here for all things considered. The only parts I would say where his acting was a little shaky was when he got really sad or he had to like fake cry. It wasn't the most convincing. I thought where he was at his best was when he was getting really angry or really emotionally loud and yelling. I thought he did best in those moments. If you're not a fan of slow pace, slow moving films, then this might not be for you. The first hour or so of this movie really drags. You're kind of waiting for stuff to happen and it just doesn't. But the second half of the movie really takes off. There's a lot of action in the second half of the film. A lot of crazy fucking shit starts happening. And it, to me, was well worth the wait and well worth the build up. And I didn't mind the first hour or so of the build up. It was actually getting me really interested in the story because I didn't know how the story went, and it grabbed me, and I was on the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen next, or what is the answer to what is going on, because there's a lot of questions in this movie when you don't really know what's going to happen next, or you don't know why something is happening, or you don't know the secrets that they're not telling you. And by the end, not all your answers get answered. A lot of it's left up to the imagination, but I think that's what makes this movie so good. If you are a fan of the game, you have seen the game and or played it or whatever, I heard that this is a very faithful adaptation. Like, everything that happens in the game happens in the movie, and he even added stuff to that. So I think if you're a fan of that, you're gonna absolutely love this movie, because a lot of video game adaptations fall flat in that department. A lot of them take their own turns or add their own type of lore and change the story around, like the Silent Hill movies, for example, and it just doesn't work out. But in terms of this movie, from what I've heard, it is very faithful, and that's what people like about it. If you're someone like me, or even I went with my girlfriend to see this, and neither of us have ever seen it or heard of the game or know what happens, my girlfriend thought it was really slow and she was confused. She didn't really understand what was happening, and I can see a lot of the audience feeling that way because, like I said, there's a lot of things that don't get answered, or there's things that just kind of happen. And if you played the game, I'm sure it would make sense to you, but from coming in from like a third person perspective, it might not be the easiest to follow. I've always been into like the cosmic horror type of things, and this is a very cosmic horror movie. You don't really understand the elements of what's going on the outside. It's unknown. All you know is he's in this ocean of blood, and there's some creatures around, but you don't really know what the fuck is going on. Markiplier is pretty much the only person in this film. He is the main character. There's a couple other characters that appear for like 2 seconds. There is a voice talking to him, multiple voices talking to him over like this intercom. But besides that, he is the leader. He runs the show, and I think he does a very good job. Troy Baker is even in this as a voice cameo, which I thought was pretty interesting. They did a very good job of making the viewer kind of uncomfortable. Like, you never really get comfortable. You're always kind of on edge with a little bit of anxiety because you don't know what is going to happen. There's never really like a calm moment in the movie. It's all just all very high anxiety filled, despite the slow pace, which I thought was really nice. I mean, overall, for his first film, and I hope Markiplier does more films, because if this is how his first film turned out, I am more than satisfied. This so far, I've only seen 3 or 4 movies this year that have came out. This is my favorite movie of the year so far. It was really good. Great cinematography for a $3 million budget. I thought it looked great. Markiplier did pretty good in his role. The submarine looked really cool. The set design, the sound design, I thought it was all great. I would have to give Iron Lung a 3.5 out of 5. This was a really good movie, and I think if I watch it a second time, I might like it even more, since I now know like what the hell is kind of going on. And watching this movie made me want to go back and watch gameplay on the video game and kind of watch videos on the in-depth lore of the Iron Lung world, because it's very interesting. I think the whole idea of like the quiet rapture, which is what the event is called, all the stars and everything disappearing, then just this ocean of blood with fucked up creatures in is a really cool idea. But yeah, Iron Lung, great movie. Markiplier, hell of a job. I love that YouTubers are making movies now. Like, this is all the YouTubers I've had growing up, they're starting to actually make fucking films, which is really fucking awesome to see. And I hope that someone else makes one again. I hope Markiplier makes more movies, because he really should. And I hope he gets more acting roles as well. So that's it. That's my review for Iron Lung. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.